Hey there viewers, my name is Torinski and welcome back to another DCSS Sunday. Today we're jumping back into the usual routine, trying to get a win with every species in the game, and of course where we last left off, we'd seen some decent luck with Puma Thurman, our fantastic feline summoner. And so hopefully we can continue that trajectory. We did just get stone form, or statue form I should say, online, so that will hopefully lead to a bit more survivability on our end, but who knows what the dungeon has in store. So without further ado, let's get ready to hop right back into it, shall we? We hadn't quite managed to collect any runes, and in fact I believe Jorgrun was waiting somewhere for us on Shoals 1, so that's going to be an interesting battle to take on at some point. But Spider's looking pretty open. We've cleared out most of the regular dungeon, and so that's about all we have left to do here. Statue form couldn't have come at a better time, so I think we'll just hop right to it, shall we? Let's head that direction. We'll of course recall our ancestor to us here, refresh where all of our buttons are. Cactus Giant, Mana Viper. I guess Mana Viper won't be too incredible here in this area, but still fairly decent against our spider friends. And of course we do have to tell the game that I do in fact want to cast statue form. Fantastic. See that cutest dang cat statue you ever dang did see. Hey Hugh Honey, watch me on YouTube all the time. You just got Twitch to watch me? Well, hey, welcome. I'm happy to hear it. Always glad to see new faces. Thanks for the follow yesterday as well. I saw that pop up, but yeah, nice to see you here. Not quite in person, but about as close as we get. Thank you so much for coming on by to hang out. I always appreciate it. Hopefully that will give us the luck we need to succeed today. We'll have to see how it all goes down. Oh geez, apparently 9% is just never gonna pass successfully for us today, but that shouldn't be the end of the world. We do have a little bit more transmutations training at least, so that should be kind of nice to hopefully prevent this issue in the future. Maybe we'll bring up earth magic on the bottom side of things there as well. And I was debating if we should train more summoning. If we pop into our spells, there's still a decent ceiling on these summoning things, so could be nice and does allow us to, whenever we do eventually stumble across the high level summoning spells, use them immediately. So that seems like it could be nice for sure. And not too many of our spider friends here so far, but I'm sure that that's subject to change. For the time being, we'll just gladly send in our army here. Fantastic. We do have a bit of unarmed training on our own, so statue form gives us a decent unarmed attack with our stone kitty claws. And where's my ancestor? There you are, my friend. Perfect. Not even the entire army able to get into the fray there, but that's all we need. And that should be just about great. Even our ancestor can do the work. At the end of last stream is when I came to the realization that we named our ancestor after Catrick. But they're not really a cat. Most namely because they can hold things in their claws. Which, as we've seen from personal experience, unfortunately is not the case. Ooh, and first Emperor Scorpion on its way here. We do have a decent army between us and them, so I'm happy to let the chips fall as they may for now. Ooh, the radioactive roach might also be a bit of a son of a gun here, but let's hope that our peeps can do some of the good work here. In fact, ooh, we hit the transmutations cap there. Let's bring up our earth magic just a smidge on the backside, focus that down, and I think I will train a bit more summoning while we're at it. It's not very often that I actually find myself using summoning throughout the entirety of a run, so I feel like that could be a kind of fun, different strategy for us to try out today. And, oh, perfect timing for us to lose statue form. Jeez Louise. Well, let's try and get through this in one piece. Oh, I did not notice. I thought you died instead of my friend. Well, that's not great. Let's pause for a moment here so we don't immediately lose Puma's life at the start of the stream, because one irradiate is almost definitely enough to take us out of the equation. So the question becomes, do we use a blink? Guess we kind of have to. You're not fast, at least, so if we blink out of here and we lose statue form, we can always run away to our heart's content. So let's do it. I hate to use a blink scroll so early on in our evening here, but whatever we need to do to get through in one piece seems like the best option for us at the moment. Can even bring out a cactus giant and see how you fare. There we go. That's much better. Fantastic. Something that we never really experimented with much last week is actually using this idealize, so hopefully at some point today I can remember that we have that functionality available to us. Ooh, as our buddies just barely win the encounter there. Fantastic work, crew. And so it continues, not too shabby. Looks like Spider might not be too bad at the end of the day here. I'm definitely ready for us to regret making such bold claims. We'll see how it goes as we continue forward. And you know, Ancestor, I love the idea of seeing you win a 1v1, but let's recall you out of there. And let some of the others go in. Specifically, Cactus Giant is exactly what we were hoping for. Fantastic. We'll see, I'm a little bit gun shy of using the golem just because of our near-death, or yeah, I think it was just a near-death experience last time. Due to being caught in our own explosion, brought us from max to 7 health back then, so definitely not our best bet. And when we're in statue form, we're of course just a little bit slow on the up and up. But not too bad as long as we get all of our folks between us and the enemies. They do a pretty fantastic job. Fortunately, our Ancestor is poison immune, so we don't have to worry too much about them going down due to arbitrage here. And not too shabby for the first floor. I'm hoping for more spell books, because I think, yeah, with that one we finally have a scroll wheel, but until then we were pretty limited as to what we had available to us here. I guess we could learn something like Fridge. It's not horrible, but I'm hoping some high-level summoning or something to switch gears for us here. Maybe Manifold Assault, Ignition, you know, all the classics, as it were. For the time being, let's finish off the floor. There we go. Oh, or not quite. Hello, friend. Exactly, Hugh, honey. Yeah, Dragon's Call. What is the one that brings out ugly things? Is it like Malignant Gateway? Summon horrible things? Something like that. You can tell that I don't play summoners very often, especially to the point where I actually am using those high-level spells, so I'm excited to potentially get the chance to experiment a little bit more in that department. That's something I always enjoy doing in this game, is finding new and exciting avenues for getting the job done. Ooh, and there's another rad roach. We'll see how it goes this time. Much better, honestly. Fantastic. Can't be too upset about that. We'll definitely take a step back here so that we don't get caught out by that alarm trap, of course. Not exactly ideal, but fantastic. Not the end of the world here by any stretch. And oof. Another spell that we're definitely hoping to stumble across in our journey here is, of course, Irradiate. We already have the transmutation training, so it should pretty much be castable from the moment we find it, and that goes a heck of a long way in regards to keeping us alive. Where did you go, Emperor Scorpion? There you are, and this time they saw us, so let's try to get them surrounded with our friends here. Great work, Kidleywinks. And in fact, bring out the golem so that our Ancestor doesn't take quite as much damage, and that should do the trick. Beautiful. Hey, there's Manifold Assault. And it is summon horrible things. Yeah, exactly. So perfect. Hopefully we see that at some point here. I mean, Manifold Assault isn't too bad. I know lately I've been on a big kick about Dragon form in Manifold Assault, but even statue form with Cat does a pretty good job. Our 15 rune Felid, I think, pretty much just used statue form, Manifold Assault, and MCC the entire game, and it worked out pretty well. Another spell we're hoping to stumble across is Ignition Dragon form Manifold Assault, as is always the case. Seriously, learn Blink? Oh, we definitely should, shouldn't we? That's one that I always forget to bring on. And we might as well. I think we will train a bit of translocations to get Manifold up, so let's start there. Makes our job a bit easier in the future. Manifold Assault with Stone Fist is busted, and especially when they're not even just Stone Fist, but Stone Claws at that. Pretty brilliant stuff. So we'll start training some translocations here. We'll bring it up to 6 and see where that leaves us. Fortunately, we have this crazy aptitude in it, so it should be pretty quick to get Manifold Assault online here. And then hopefully one of these days, maybe our next level up, we'll stop having to confirm casting statue form, because it definitely gets old pretty fast. But that seemed to be a usual issue here with Felid, seeing as how if you manage to lose some of your extra lives early on, you're of course going to be underleveled by the time you get to these sections of the game. Ooh, Torpor Snail. Why, hello. And I don't love that I'm kind of caught out in the middle of this. Just trying to walk away from my golem. Fantastic. There we go. And then we'll fight here while everyone's burning up in the resulting inflammation. Fantastic. I guess immolation is maybe better. Inflammation just makes you think that you have a bit of an itis problem of some kind. But not too shabby here. And can't complain too much because Spider can oftentimes be a little bit of a nightmare, but so far it's been pretty forgiving. I mean, no slew of ghost moths yet, so that's nice. We're of course gonna have some trouble with them because we can see invisible, which is fantastic. The majority of our summons, on the other hand, don't quite have the same liberties, so that can be a little bit tricky at times, to say the least, but we'll burn that bridge when we get there. And for the time being, let's just be happy with what we have going here. Especially when I can just let my friends do all the heavy lifting and stay out of close combat ourselves. It works out pretty nicely. One thing that I didn't even consider when we took Hebluquana last time around is the health detriment that comes with the deity. Not the end of the world. We're already pretty dang low health, minus 30% I think for Felids. And so if you're bringing that on, it's essentially just another 10%. And I mean, if we're gonna get one shot anywho, then not exactly the end of the world. But we're gonna be constantly in danger of just such an occasion, so that should be fun when we get to the late game. We'll, again, figure that out as we continue to move forward here. For the time being, shouldn't be that much more detrimental, again, than our current natural state. And yeah, we'll have to rely on the Mana Viper and Wolves for sure, Hugh Honey. Some of the few pieces to the puzzle here that can see invisible. Hopefully they're strong enough to take out the Ghost Moth. That's the part that I feel a little less confident about. But at the end of the day, at least we can see invisible. As long as we're already in statue form, before we completely run out of magic points, we should be able to take on a Ghost Moth ourselves. But we'll see if and when that comes to pass, just how it goes down, of course. Never really know. Fantastic. Great work, team. So start off, I definitely need statue form. Oh, I should not have bothered with the cactus giant. We were just talking about that. And there we go. One ghost moth, no problem whatsoever. Those laser moths are also scary. Oh, for sure. I think that was our original reason for coming into Spider, to explore, immediately turning tail and getting the heck out of dodge. Because in our base state here, with bad rolls, they can one-shot us with any energy bolt, which is pretty wild for sure. Always a wee bit scary to say the least, but as long as we have enough friends by our side, the power of friendship is second to none. And I believe in the power of those here. I think we'll be able to figure it out. Fortunately, for the most part, orb spiders don't do great at dealing with a bunch of summons, or at least historically they haven't. I'm curious if anything has changed in that regard. Basically, back in the day, they used to never run away from your summons, but always run away from you. It seems like there has been some changes to the orb spiders in general. I've noticed that they tend to hang around the like 4 squares away instead of always running to the furthest extreme. So it's maybe not as noticeable one way or another, even if the same effect is still in place. But regardless, it's definitely a nice thing to be able to send bodies. Oh my gosh, it happened so fast. Okay. Orb of Destruction straight to the face. We'll see how much damage it rolled. I even thought it for a split second, and then my fingers pressed a key. Welp. We did indeed, Felid. Let's find out, shall we? What did that son of a gun hit us for? We went down to -20 for 67 damage, Orb of Destruction. Oof. So even if we were at max health, that would have almost killed us. The fact that we were down a little bit meant that it was fully lethal. Well, that happened brutally fast. Jeez Louise, I'm sorry, Puma Thurman. We probably could have kept you alive a bit longer if I'd just gone upstairs upon seeing the orb. Okie dokie. Well, I guess that's our warm-up for the day. Oh, let's do a bit of a stretch, a bit of a sip of our drink here, and reminisce on Puma Thurman's existence. We'll see, do we want to go Summoner again? Is it time for Cataly Portman? Sure, that sounds fantastic. I think even if I look over at the list from a couple weeks back here, we still had a few from you, Felid, always on the ball when it comes to these names, but I like Cataly Portman, so let's do it. And where do we want to start today? Summoner was kind of interesting. I did enjoy it, and the opening spells in your book do manage to get us pretty far into the game. I'm pretty happy with both Conjurer and Summoner in that regard. And I'll probably go with one of those two. We could go with something a little more creative and fun, but let's try one just balls to the wall, everything optimized to try and get a cat win here. So that means potentially worshipping Gozag or one of the magic gods. We'll see how we're feeling. It's nice with magic gods, of course, especially like Sif to guarantee the statue form, Vehumet to just guarantee enough spell power to keep blasting until the ends of the earth, or Gozag because, I mean, it's Gozag. I don't think they need much more of an introduction than that. And so I guess it all comes down to, which of these do we wish to go for? Maybe we'll keep swapping back and forth between the two. If there are any preferences in chat, let me know, because I'm always happy to offshoot my suggestions or decision making in general to you. Alternatively, I could always outsource to my other favorite method here and bring out ye old lucky coins here. And in fact, I might do so. Let's go Conjurer's Heads, Summoner's Tails, and give it a shot, shall we? And we get heads. So I think that was Conjurer. Again, I should probably pay more attention when I'm assigning these values, but let's jump right into it, shall we, and give that a good old shot here. So of course, immediately get our training set up, just so we'll also do a little bit of auto pickup action. It's nice when it's just the evocables, makes things pretty easy. And last but not least, we'll do a quick dump, which, you know, you can tell I had confidence in Puma Thurman because I didn't bother to get this all set up in advance. If you'll give me just a quick moment to do some of the old file navigation here. Apt roaming, crawl, morgue, and Oh gosh. Apparently opening the morgue file is a bit of a pain, but fantastic, because we'll of course grab the seed here, just in case anybody wants to play along on their own from home. Always exciting from my side to hear about how people manage in the exact same situations, and with that, we're ready to hop right back into it, so let's do so, shall we? Try and remember what it was like to be just a baby cat without statue form available. I mean, the one nice thing is that we're back to being nice and fast. I guess not so much compared to some of the quicker beasts here, but still not too shabby. You, my friend, we just run away from. It's nice that we don't have to worry about opportunity attacks, of course. Ooh, and we'll definitely learn Searing Ray as soon as we possibly can here, because that should help out a decent amount with our overall damage output. If we can just survive up until the point that we get Fulminant Prism and IMB online, that's when things really start to take off here with Felid. Or at least we start to feel just a wee bit safer. Let's just go for it. I was pretty sure that was lethal. I think they potentially even just had 1 or 2 health. Fortunately, Magic Dart never misses, so that's something that we can always rely on. I'm excited for Faded Altars in Trunk, because I believe I've seen that now it gives a selection or a choice of a selection of 3 gods. I mean, there's some part of me that has always loved the sheer randomness, and we've obviously explored that multiple times in the past in this very series. But it might be nice in the future to have a little bit more of a choice in the matter, especially when you get that Trog choice, or the Trog Faded Altar on your spellcasting character. It can feel a little bit rough, to say the least. So that seems fun for sure. But okie dokie, apparently it's just worms galore here. Hello, my friend. Anything else? Ray treat us. I mean, worms, even on most characters, are nice because you don't have to worry about them catching up to you, but especially so on Felid. +2 Dagger of Venom. I'm very glad that we can deal with you from afar, my friend. I've been hearing about the rash upgrade or uptick in the amount of Venom Daggers in the early dungeon, and that can always be a little bit of a pain in the rear, to say the least. But not so much for us today. Oh my gosh. I said it kind of offhand and glibly, but it really is just a floor of worms, hey? How about that? I mean, if you could keep throwing them at me, I'm honestly not too unhappy with that, DCSS. And Terrence. I mean, we can always just run away from you, I guess. Let's do this. Let's shake it up and see if we can't get some damage going. You can one-shot us though, right? Oh, you just barely can't. Fantastic. And we will risk it to do that final Searing Ray, and it does work out for us at the end of it all here. Absolutely beautiful. Alright, Cataly, it's you and me versus the world. Let's do this, shall we? Because if anyone was ever in doubt, this is the cat. This is the Felid of the ages, who will spit in Zot's face, pop up on Zot's table, walk all over their keyboard, and of course knock all of their things to the ground. Just like cats do. Or as cats are wont to do, I should say. Hello, Salazar, nice to see you. I do not want to run into Grinder again, so hopefully they've left the vicinity. Ooh, Sigmund as well is a bit of a problem. Keep trying to walk away. Unfortunately, the confusion could have been a little bit rough on us. Oh gosh, and there it is again. Stop that. Oh no, and now we're walking towards him. Jeez Louise. Well, there we go. Now if you two could line yourselves up a little bit, or not, we'll just kill Sigmund. That works too. Fantastic. Ah yes, Grinder and his twin sister Tinder. Just the greatest pair the world has ever known. So we have a huge chance to get paralyzed. Pain, not a big deal. It's not like I have that much health anyway. Half my health is about equivalent to any other attack you could possibly send our way. But 39 health on that son of a gun means quite a few successful Searing Rays. So I'm not feeling super confident about that, and we can just turn tail, run the other direction, and hopefully not run into you again. Okay, that was a dead end. Maybe not our best option there. Maybe this way? Oh, also a dead end. I'm really good at this whole finding dead end things. But okie dokes. Let's hope that the rest of the floor here isn't quite so bad. I started to feel the slightest bit of panic upon seeing all the orcs, but I was ready to just sprint the other direction the moment we saw a priest, of course, as we get the starting Earth Magic Handbook. It's not too bad. Probably will be interested in learning Stone Arrow at some point. It's always nice to have just a solid bit of damage that's elemental. There's probably a better way of saying that. Non-elemental, I guess. And of course, we should also start thinking about these Fulminant Prism IMB choices here. So which one do we want to start with today? Fulminant Prism causes a lot of noise, brings all the boys to the yard, but with our extra speed is super powerful. IMB, on the other hand, is more defensive, able to just push off all the enemies next to us, especially if they happen to be as fast as we are. That's always nice. Hey, Necrohol. Sandblast is so good with the buffs. Oh, really? How did it get buffed? In what sense? Does 2d5? Honestly, I don't remember at this point whether that's different or the same. Gathering the rock from ambient grit is slow, making this spell take half as long as again to cast as most. Oh, interesting. Full power now is kind of 2d20. Jeez, that's pretty fantastic. You, honey, you vote for IMB. A chatter after my own heart. I always enjoy some IMB. The nice thing about it here, of course, is that, again, we have this +4 aptitude in translocation, so we can learn that pretty dang quickly. That'll learn, yes. Let's just bring that online. That sounds good to me. In fact, sure, I'll learn this immediately. Won't be casting it for a while yet. Almost assuredly, but nice to have it around. Switch to Magic Dart there just to ensure that we can hit the adder. It's always nice to have that little bit of insurance policy. Why we train spells? We're just going to worship Trog and Zerg people with our Razor Claws. Oh, you know, it is tempting. And past me back in the day would have jumped at the opportunity because I was always a fan of squishy berserkers for whatever reason. Maybe I was a bit of a masochist growing up. But I definitely enjoyed my Dex Berserkers. I actually should try that at some point now that Dex actually has a bit more meaning in life with the scaling of swords with that. So really should take the time to check it out at some point down the road. And our lovely ogre friend here, we can try to just abuse as much as possible, take advantage of our extra speed. Beautiful. It's nice not having to worry about those, of course, because it generally hits pretty hard. And ooh, Economical Temple right away. Let's do a quick explore. We have Vehement, we have Gozag, and we have Sif. We have all the options at our disposal. Kind of hoping the game would make some of the decisions for us by restricting those, but that's fine. Sif is the wisest being in this hive mind. Well, you just have to take one look at all of the pun names they came up with, or come up with in general, and I feel like any of us could tell you that. So, okie dokie, where do we wish to go today? Again, I'm tempted to just go with Gozag and try to leverage that to our best ability. As always, happy to take suggestions. I'll take this as a nice moment to just sip from my drink, and try to decide even on my own side of things. Where do I wish to go today? How am I feeling today? Besides devastated. Is Gozag good for a spellcaster? I'm of the opinion that Go's Egg is good for just anyone, straight up. I mean, for me, it comes down to largely being able to use Potion Petition throughout the mid-game to kind of curb my use of consumables, because I am always pretty generous with those throughout the course of the game. Go's Egg kind of lacks in the early game. For sure, it'll take a little bit to get Gun in here, but I think just the Conjurer's Spellbook will do well enough for that, or in that regard, I should say. And so I'm not too concerned about that. The big question to me is like Sif Muna, guaranteed statue form is huge for the survivability of our cat mid to late game. I probably even, this is one of the rare cases that I would weigh Sif Muna over Vehement as a spellcaster. Go's Egg in some ways has the same advantage. If we're truly desperate, we can always farm up money and just buy bookshops until the end of days and hope that statue form shows up. So there is that. I think I will go with Go's Egg just to keep it switched up here.